Hey, what is going on, Halo fans? Welcome to Gamer Gains for another video. Today I'll be showing you how I custom painted my Halo Infinite Nerf MA40 assault rifle one step at a time. I'm going to be breaking this video up into a few steps for you to navigate, so feel free to skip around or skip to the end if you just like to see the finished product. And real quick, if you've never painted a Nerf gun before, have no fear. I was a noob just like you not too long ago. So before diving right into the brand new $50 MA40, I decided to do a small practice paint job on this smaller Nerf gun here. So hopefully that gives me enough credibility to lead you through the rest of the video here. So let's get started by talking about the materials that you're going to need for this job. And keep in mind, these can all vary depending on what color and texture that you'd like your gun to have, but these are the specific materials that I ended up using, so I'll make sure to link each one for you to buy down below if you're interested. So starting off, you're going to need a primer color of your choice. I chose this Rust-Oleum Silver Metallic Primer. This was highly recommended on Amazon, where a lot of people said that the paint adheres really well to the plastic, which is really important for painting Nerf guns like these. I also really like the silver color, and I knew I'd be using this as a base coat for the entire thing to give it that gunmetal finish. So next, you're going to need a paint color of your choice. So once you've primed it, the paint is going to stick much more easily. So I decided to go with this charcoal gray color to match the Halo UNSC aesthetic. I wasn't trying to make the design look exactly like the Halo Reach or Halo Infinite assault rifle, kind of a blend of them and my own custom design. If you plan to have multiple layers or tape certain parts off, I recommend using painter's tape. And finally, you'll need sandpaper or a Dremel. This is optional and I'll explain why in just a little bit, but this pack of sandpaper that I used was only about $5, so not a huge cost, it's really up to you. So after you've gathered all of your necessary materials, step 2 is going to be sanding. So after watching a handful of Nerf gun painting tutorials and some trial and error, I've determined that sanding has 3 main purposes. First, sanding can help you remove paint that's currently on the Nerf gun. Second, sanding allows for a rougher finish, which helps your paint adhere much better to the smooth plastic surface. And third, sanding can help you to remove existing decals, logos, and etches on the gun that you may want to remove, like this Nerf logo for example. So because I did mention sanding was optional, I'm not going to get into all the details of it right now, as there are plenty of other YouTube videos that show you how to sand a Nerf gun. So moving on to step 3. So for step 3, you're going to want to start disassembling your gun and preparing it for painting. When disassembling it, I like to have a little bowl nearby where I can put all the screws. I think with the MA40 there were over 20 or 30 tiny little screws, so you want to make sure that you don't lose any of those. Also, for my particular paint job, I wanted to keep the functionality of the Nerf gun intact, so I ended up taping off all of the electrical components to make sure that no paint would get on them and potentially damage them. Alright, so once you've disassembled everything and have an idea of which parts you want to paint which color, it's time to go outside and get started. Moving on to step 4, priming. When working with spray paint, you want to make sure that you're doing this in a very ventilated area, such as an open garage or a backyard. You want to hold the can approximately 6 to 10 inches away from the surface that you're spraying, and make sure to keep it moving to prevent buildup. And with this specific primer, it actually dried pretty fast, about 10 minutes or so I was able to do a second and a third coat right there without having to wait too long. So now with the entire thing covered in the silver primer, I was already really liking the way that it looked. From here I started planning ahead to which parts I wanted to be the charcoal gray, so I took some of the smaller components and started taping the areas off that I wanted to stay silver. Once everything was taped over and ready to go back outside, I took the charcoal gray and did another coat over the entire thing. Alright, so after letting the paint dry, it's time to take off the tape and reassemble it. Alright, so here is the finished product. I'm really satisfied with how it turned out, and I think that the metallic silver really gives it a shiny look that I wasn't expecting initially. Also, the few parts that I sanded look really nice and worn with that gritty texture that I mentioned before. So thanks for joining me for this tutorial on painting the Halo Infinite MA40. I hope this guide showed you that it's not too hard to get into this and that a little paint really goes a long way. If you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate if you left a like and subscribe to the channel for more Halo and Xbox content. That's all for today, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.